I'm joined by Brian Varela. He is the owner of a digital marketing and web company based in North Bergen, and he has announced that he is going to be seeking the Democratic nomination for Congress in the 8th Congressional District. Mr. Varela, thank you for joining me on Hudson TV to talk about your campaign.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
First thing I want to ask you before we get into specifics, you worked for Governor Christie in his first year in office. Governor Christie is a Republican. Have you changed your political philosophy in the 10, 11 years since then? Because you're running now on the Democratic line.
So that's actually a funny story. When I first applied for the internship, Corzine was actually the governor. It was Christie's administration that called me. I was 21 years old at the time. So for me, it was really more about it being a learning experience and learning a little bit about government, a little bit about how Trenton works. And that's really why I took it up. And I was an intern, just to be very clear.
Okay. All right. So I think it's fair to say the 8th Congressional District is probably the most diverse district in the state of New Jersey. It may be the most diverse district in the United States. What is the reason that you're seeking a seat in Congress, and what do you consider to be the most important needs for the district?
Sure. So the reason I'm seeking is I feel it's just time for someone to step up and really push some significant change, right? While I believe that our country is, depending on the year, more or less moving in the right direction, there's still a lot of progress left for us to really undertake, especially for the people in our district. My reason for running is, my point of living, the point of life, I believe, is to leave a significant impact. And I believe that being in Congress gives me the strongest lever to do just that. As far as the needs of this district, they're very cut and clear, right? We need to focus on housing, universal childcare, and of course, universal healthcare are three of the biggest items that we really want to look at.
Yeah, I should mention that the incumbent Congressman Albio Sires is going to be retiring, so it is going to create a vacancy. I think it's also fair to say that your road to the nomination in the June primary is going to be an extremely tough road. The Democratic organization in the district in Hudson County is fully behind what everyone believes to be the leading contender, the son of Senator Bob Menendez, Rob Menendez Jr. How will you go about your campaign? You mentioned a couple of issues that you feel are important. How will you go about trying to get that message across to say to the public, I'm a better choice for the Democratic nominee come June than Rob Menendez is?
Jeff, I think what it comes down to is authenticity. I am doing this because I genuinely care. I am doing this because I genuinely believe I want to and believe I can make a difference. And I believe that it's just about getting in front of the community and giving them a chance to meet me, not to just read mailers or read articles that we put out, but rather have a one-on-one conversation with me so they can feel the energy that I'm really bringing to the table, unlike a lot of people that I believe are either in office now or are running for office. In addition, Jeff, I was raised in this community. I was born and raised in North Bergen. I'm Hispanic. I speak fluent Spanish, raised in a Colombian household by two incredible parents. And I was raised in a family that can really relate a lot to the community, right? I mean, when I was young, we had a very similar life to many of the residents in Hudson County and other parts of District 8. And, we didn't grow up rich. We didn't grow up with things more or less given to us. We had to work hard for everything. I've worked very hard my entire life, and I think that that's built me into a very strong person. I've become a very strong man of character because of all of the things that I went through, not just as a child, but even in adulthood. At the age of 22, I did have to take on the financial burden of my family due to my parents' family business failing. By the age of 26, I got into entrepreneurship. Since then, I've managed to build and run 6 companies successfully. And, this is coming from someone that had no leg up, that did not have name recognition, did not have any sort of financial advantages, right? My only advantage was that I had 2 great, incredible parents who loved me very much and made sure that I always did the right thing as far as school went.
Uh, Give me a little bit of specifics on the couple of topics that you mentioned early in the interview that you feel are the most important uh, issues facing the district. You talked about universal health care.
Sure. So universal healthcare, and Jeff, if it's okay, I actually would prefer to shift to universal childcare. The reason being is that there's a lot of plans for universal healthcare, and that gets a lot of attention. And I think we will solve that at some point. Universal childcare is something that's not spoken about enough, in my opinion. Universal childcare, it's time that we do right by parents, right? Meeting a lot of parents in the community, they're basically handcuffed to their current position, right? There are parents who don't make enough money, and childcare becomes a burden. And so now it's a matter of if there's a family member that can help, or if the mother can pursue a career or can take care of her child, right? And it's one or the other, and it's a very tough choice, especially in 2022. Now there are families that do qualify for subsidy, and I think New Jersey does a really good job compared to other states with helping parents out with their childcare expense. But unfortunately, it's not enough, and so a lot of parents get stuck on what I believe is a benefits cliff, right? Where they can't pursue, they have to work. Great, so they have to work in order to qualify for subsidy. No problem. But when they start doing good at their jobs, or when they start liking their careers, if they pursue higher income, better jobs, or a better position, they are now being penalized, because the minute that they make more than what they're making, their subsidy is removed. So there's no incentive for them to pursue a career, to pursue a higher education, to pursue being able to build a better life for their family, because of the risk of losing the subsidy that they're getting at the present moment. So I believe that with universal healthcare, the very first impact that it's going to drive, it's going to empower parents to build better lives for themselves. Secondly, there's studies out there that show that for every dollar that's invested in a child, as a society, we get $3 back. So from an economic perspective, this makes sense way across the board, all over the table. In the long term, and this is something that no one's put a number to just yet, there's an intangible benefit to our economy where there are people who are pursuing higher education, where they're pursuing better job. That's more money being generated that's going to get circulated around the community, right? And that's an economic impact that we can't even measure, but I don't think there are too many people out there that would argue with me that that's not good for the economy overall. And then, of course, I don't think I need to dive into the societal effects of what this would do for us as humanity and as human beings in 2022.
Let me finish this off by asking you one final question. If you were a sitting congressman right now, given what's taken place with the unprovoked invasion by Russia of Ukraine, is the Biden administration handling this situation as best as it could be?
I think that the Biden administration has certainly quite a number of variables to consider, variables that we as the public may not even be aware of. And so I believe that they are doing the best with the information that they have and with the current scenarios and potential scenarios that could develop.
Want to thank you for joining me on Hudson TV. Mr. Varela, do you want to throw out a website if people want to learn more about your campaign?
Absolutely. I'd love for all of you guys to visit varelaforcongress.com. That's VARELA Congress.com, or shoot me a text. This is my number. You can reach me at 201-228-9652. Very much looking forward to connecting with the community.
Mr. Varela, thank you for taking the time to speak with me on Hudson TV. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you.